So last week we asked people on LinkedIn, have you completed your L&D planning for 2023? And the results for me were quite surprising. 12% of people said yes, we have completed our training. 27% said we're busy planning right now. So that's 39% that have either completed or in the process of completing their training for 2023. 44% said we have not started yet, and they're assuming they're still going to start that process, and 17% said they never planned their training. So I just want to speak to you about 4 places to start your planning for learning and development for next year. So the first place is with a strategic plan. Very often training is there to fill in the skills gap to give employees the skills that they need to help execute the strategic plan. So maybe the strategic plan has a new direction and those skills aren't in the business yet, and so you actually need to identify what those skills are and train for them. The second place are values. Values are always a great place to align training with, and so if you've got a specific value set, how does your training complement those values? So let me give you an example. In our Business People Connection, we've got 3 values: happy, hungry, humble. Okay, so I always think, if those are our values, what does it mean? Someone comes to their desk in the morning, they sit down, they say, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be hungry, and I'm going to be humble. Well, what does that actually look like? How do I be happy within this context? So one of the programs we ran was a wellness program, and wellness is really around emotional resilience and personal happiness levels, or thriving as we like to call it. And so how do people live that kind of life so that they bring the best version of who they are to what they do? So that's a really practical way that we can train people in the space of wellness to help them live out this value of happy. And so we've emphasized the culture that we want to build, and we've connected it to training. The third place to look to start the process of planning for learning and development for next year is to look at your training needs analysis, or to run a training needs analysis. And this is a survey process where you survey the people in your business and you ask them their experience. What are the skills they wish they most had, or they feel like they most need to execute their job properly? And we've got some questions in that space, and we run training needs analysis with businesses to help identify the felt needs of the people, where they're saying, I wish that this is the training I would get from my business. And then the last place, or the fourth place you can look to identify training needs, is an employee engagement survey. And once again, these are surveys that we run, and I know there's other means of running them, external or internally, you can run these surveys. But essentially what an employee engagement survey does is it shows you where people are engaged and thriving, doing well in the workplace, and places that they aren't, that they're really struggling. And so they might be struggling, we ask questions specifically into how approachable leaders are, or how they deal with conflict, or how they coach people when they make mistakes. And so if you find that people are scared to admit their mistakes because leaders or managers might be inclined to getting angry or disappointed, then you can run a Coaching for Leaders program, which gives leaders the new skill set to try and address this underlying tension that you've discovered in your workforce. So employee engagement surveys are great ways to find out what I call pockets of pain or pockets of challenge within the business. They might not say exactly why they're there, but you'll know where they are, and then you can try and address them through training. And what's also useful with that is a year later you re-engage, or you retake the employee engagement survey across your business, and you see if the training that you've implemented has actually made the shift that you've wanted it to make. So those are 4 ways that you can start planning for your L&D space next year.